all know by now, my favourite way to build my game collection is by buying bundles of games. And in this bag I have a massive bundle of not just PlayStation but also Dreamcast games. And trust me, these Dreamcast games are absolutely mint. You will not believe what's in this bag.
Gamecube! Rush trips!
Hello again folks, and welcome back to another game pickups video, and this time I have an absolute plethora of games from all generations and from all over the place. You know what I'm like, I will look for games anywhere I can. So if you do enjoy this video, please hit the like button, please subscribe as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5. Now let's get into the game pickups. The first games, we have some games for a console that I have said is going to get more expensive very soon, and that is the Nintendo 3DS. As people have all kind of moving on from this console, this is the time to buy these games before they absolutely spike. And I bought two games here to kind of display that idea. So first off, we have The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask in 3D. I managed to get this for 15 quid. At the minute, this sells in CX for £38. And you know, for my money, this is one of the best ways to play this game if you don't have an N64. And you know, because it's on a smaller screen, it's probably going to be a slightly better picture. It's a slightly patched version of the game and is a really good way to play this kind of harder to play Zelda game. So yeah, picking this up for 15 quid is an absolute bargain. Also, I managed to pick up Pokemon X. And you know what it is with Pokemon games? They always go up in value. You know, they're just going to get more expensive and harder to get. I managed to get this one for just a tenner. And the thing is, this one is fully complete as well. And you know, it's just one more on a step to catching them all. This next section is just a super quick little run through of some of the games I've picked up in charity shops, which I haven't caught in my live game hunting videos. You know what it's like, sometimes you are literally being eyeballed by the shop owner and don't really feel like filming in the store. So none of these are too exciting, about £1 to £2 games. First up we have ESPN for the original Xbox. Because I'm just building that original Xbox collection, I will just pretty much pick up any game for it if it's only £1 or £2 to add into the collection. Then we have a game which actually looks really cool, Hot Wheels Stunt Track Challenge. If you've seen the more recent kind of Hot Wheels games, you'll know this one looks really cool. That was £1.25. And it's always weird to see that net play on the PlayStation 2 games. You always forget that game could actually have online capabilities. Next up we have a game that I think most people had back in the day, absolute zeitgeist, The Weakest Link for the PlayStation 2, which was also released on the PlayStation 1 and pretty much every console around then at the time. And one which I think could be really interesting is PGC Darts on the Wii. And if you look at the back, it does literally look like you use the Wii remote to throw your darts. So this is either going to be really good or it's going to end up with a broken telly. As you all know by now, I've been collecting games off Facebook Marketplace for absolute years. We all do it, and normally it goes pretty normally. You turn up at somebody's house, knock on a door and pick up a game. But this has to be one of the weirdest pickups I've done for a long while, if not ever. It's just, you know, a simple Switch game, Super Mario U Deluxe for the Switch. But the messaging I had to go through to get this was so weird. Like, the person wouldn't meet at their house. We had to meet in like a pub car park. And then the creepiest bit, when I get there, they literally say, get out of the car. Did I get out of the car? Of course I did. I could get a Switch game for £5. You know, I'm not easily scared. It was the middle of the day. It turned out it was a child of about 10, 11 years old. Literally passed me the game, took the £5 note and cycled off with his mates in a gang of BMXers into the night. It was such a weird pickup, but I did manage to get this Switch game in very good working condition for just £5. But there is a problem. I absolutely can't stand this game. I don't know what it is. I love the 3D Mario games, but I absolutely suck at these side-scrolling Mario games. Like, I am literally terrible. I've got about 6 levels into this game and I just die all the time. Like, let me know in the comments down below, folks. Is there a genre or a specific game that you absolutely suck at? As this is my kryptonite. I have a general rule of thumb at the moment. If I see Gamecube games for cheap, I am going to pick them up. As because I keep saying, I genuinely believe Gamecube games are just going to keep getting more and more and more expensive. So I found these two cheap on eBay and managed to pick them up for buy it now for under £10 each. The first of which is Black and Bruised. And yes, this game is fully complete, of course. I really like the look of this one. It kind of looks like a mix between Mike Tyson's Punch-Out and also Ready to Rumble. I'm not really into serious boxing games, and this one looks kind of a lot more fun. I thought at first it was a Dreamcast exclusive, but this was also released on other consoles. But yeah, definitely excited to add this one into my growing GameCube collection. The other game I picked up is an absolute GameCube classic, and one which has taken me a long while to pick up because I was waiting to get it for a good price, and that is of course Pikmin, an absolutely iconic game on the GameCube, and this may come as a surprise, a game I've never played. As because I've never owned a copy of this physically, I've never played it. I always try and wait so I can play a physical copy of the game and enjoy it in all its complete goodness. I like to read the manual, touch the disc, read the back of the box. This for me is what game collecting is about. Once I add a physical game to my collection, now it's on my to play list. Let's get into this PlayStation 1 bundle then. So, this was a Facebook Marketplace pickup, and I paid £10 for this bundle of PlayStation 1 games. I just knew, as soon as I saw a bundle of PlayStation 1 games for a tenner, I had to pick it up. The only thing is, I did not have the best view of what the item condition was going to be like. So, some of these are pretty hit and miss. But remember, I got all these games for £10. So, I'm going to first go through the games I'm going to add into my collection. These are games I don't have or variants. So first off, we have Formula Karts. I know very, very little about this game. It looks like kind of the generic kind of kart racing game that we got loads of on the PlayStation 1. So yeah, not really sure about that one. Next up, we have a game which I've heard a lot about, but I don't think I've ever played, and that is Jersey Devil. But yeah, definitely cool to add this one into the collection. Next one, I think a game that everyone played back in the day, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? This is the second edition. Not really the most high value game, but you know, finding PlayStation 1 games is getting harder and harder, so it's good to build that collection. Next up, an absolute classic, which I can't believe it's taken me this long to get, is Destruction Derby. Some may argue Destruction Derby 2 is by far the superior game, but definitely cool to add this one into the collection. These next two games are definitely jumping up in price. This is also where we move into the Platinum games. I know Platinum may sound like a dirty word to a lot of people, but you know, you get what you're given. So first off, we have Spider-Man for the PlayStation 1. This is an absolute classic game, and the price of this one is actually starting to rise. So to get this in a bundle of games for £10 is a really good deal. May not be in the most amazing condition, but I'm sure you can always do a box swap. More about that in a bit. Next up, we have Spider-Man Enter Electro. So we have not just the first, but the second Spider-Man game as well. So to get them both in the same bundle for under £10 is really cool. Speaking of iconic games for the PlayStation 1, we have Spyro 2. And again, this one is actually one of the best conditioned games. It's in really good condition. It is fully complete with this absolutely hefty manual. So yeah, to get a good condition copy of Spyro 2 is really cool. And finally, oh no, we've got two more, sorry. We have Tomb Raider 3, which I do have the black label version, but you know, these games, it's not the most expensive game, it's not exactly going to sell for tons, so to pick up the Platinum variant is pretty cool. And finally, another game I already have, but to pick up the Platinum variant is Oddworld. Arguably one of the most iconic games on the PlayStation 1. And yeah, these are all games I'm going to add into my collection. I'm going to put the CX value if I bought them in CX down below. Some of these have got a little bit of rough cases, but I have also got loads of spares. Again, these are the games from the bundle I'm adding into my collection. And the CX total for these games, if I was going to store and buy them, would have been £58. And remember, we paid £10 for this bundle, but stranger still, these free games do not appear on CX's website. So let me know in the comments down below, have you come across many games that CX just doesn't seem to sell anymore? And you know, these are not like the most obscure titles. Obviously we have got the Formula Karts game, which isn't exactly probably a well-known title, but you know, we're talking about Destruction Derby 2 and Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 1. I wouldn't think they're the most rare games of all time, so let me know. Have you found many games on the CX website they just don't seem to sell or buy? But don't forget, we also have the games which I already have in my collection. So these can even be sold on eBay or traded into CX. So first off, we have Oddworld Abe's Exodus. And, you know, this is actually in really good condition, this copy. The only problem is I do already have a copy which is in better condition, so this one will go into my trade or selling pile. Next up, we have Crash Bandicoot 3. It is the Platinum version, and also it is in pretty rough condition. It is missing the front cover, and also the front page of the booklet is ripped. But, you know, if somebody's looking for disc only, this could be a good option. Next up, we have an absolute classic, Final Fantasy VIII on the PlayStation 1. Again, it is the Platinum version, but it is complete with all the discs and all the booklets. And yeah, this will be one that probably I will stick on eBay. It's in pretty good condition, and I reckon it will sell for a little bit more than I'd get for CX trading. So just for those games alone, that would be £12 in CX trading credit. But these next 4 games I could not find again on CX's website. And the first one is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, which I find all the time for PlayStation 1. It's not really very valuable, but I find it all the time. Next up, we have Die Hard Trilogy, an absolute classic in kind of this value case, like slightly different value release, but you know, again, a cool one to have. Then you get some generic sports sales such as World Cup 98, which has no back label, so you know that's pretty much just disc only, and one which I was pretty gutted, it is just the disc and the manual, is the Lost World Jurassic Park. I have this in platinum. It would have been cool to add the black label, but sadly no front cover. What an amazing bundle. So I get to add all those PlayStation 1 games into my collection, as well as having loads I can either trade in or sell. I'll probably go down the eBay route and just start them low and just sell them for what people are willing to pay for them. But what I will be doing is swapping some of the cases of the games I'm keeping, so I keep them in nicer cases. You know, at the end of the day, PlayStation 1 cases are getting very hard to get hold of, so I want to keep the best condition ones for myself. Speaking of games though that I have difficult cases to get, I also picked up at the same time an amazing Dreamcast bundle, and I literally bought this bundle for just 1 or 2 games, as most of them I already own, but the condition of these is unbelievable. Here we go then folks, this is the Dreamcast bundle, and if you know anything about Dreamcast games, these cases are so fragile. They get broken so easy, and it's going to be so hard for me to kind of show this in this video, but these things are so incredibly minty. And there's just 2 games out of these that I'm adding into the collection. The first of which is Worms Armageddon, like a classic multiplayer couch co-op kind of game. Absolutely fantastic to add this, as it's the best version. You can get this on the N64, and I think the PlayStation 1, but the Dreamcast is by far the best version. Next up is the reason I kind of bought this bundle is for this one game. This bundle, remember, costs 30 quid, but it comes with Sonic Adventure 2. This is a high value target in the Dreamcast library at the moment, especially with Sonic Fever gripping the nation, so really happy to add this. It's kind of a game I didn't think I'd be adding for a long while, so really happy to add this. Talking about Dreamcast Fever, to have a spare copy of Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. This is trading in at CX for a lot of money at the moment, and I will be trading this one in. And yeah, also it's not only that, we have a spare copy of Jet Set Radio Future. Sorry, Jet Set Radio, and this thing again trades in for a lot of money, as well as the final game here, MSR Metropolis Street Racing. So these 3 games, even though they are spares, I'm going to add these into my collection and get rid of my personal copies, because these things are just absolutely mint. And that's just even before I look at these other 2 games like Sonic Adventure 2 and Worms Armageddon. The value in these, as you can see on the side of the screen, is absolutely insane. Like, just getting this game for £35 is doing good, but getting all of these games and with the trading credit was an absolutely amazing deal. I've said it once and I will say it again, bundles is the way to build your gaming collection. Like, I got to keep games, I'll be trading games, basically I'll be making money back on my initial investment. Yes, you have to spend time either trading them into CX or selling them on eBay, but that is what it is. It's hard work building a game collection, and you know, I think it's worth it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like if you did, subscribe for more videos, and as always, keep playing the game. See y'all soon.